never complain about a heat wave. Never. So after a summer of some of the hottest weather seen in the British Isles for many a year, we are back to normal. Had to pick a Triumph Tiger 1200 up from that roundabout the other day. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it had taken a bit of a tumble. So I've been quite eager to get on some of these kinds of roads with the GS, because in many respects I think things like this, it should feel home from home, and this really does to me feel like a real Swiss Army knife of a bike. What's not to love, even on a wet and miserable day? I think for me this is one of my favourite habitats. B roads. What I love about a road like this is that you, even at just normal speed, you've got to be really thinking about things. You feel fully engaged, and the scenery is always incredible. You know, in the UK we're really lucky with the climate. I know, yes, it does rain a lot, but there's always different colours, different ways the sky's behaving. It's, the variation is fantastic. Really, 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 really good. So I'm getting a passport sorted at the moment. I don't really go abroad just because time, money, all the rest of it. Everybody's situation's different, right? But I'm very much getting to the age now where I find most things annoying, and I have found the passport application thing annoying. I think concepts where I have to prove who I am when I've lived somewhere my entire life, I have a national insurance number, I have people that can sign who I am, there's a digital ID, just all the documents. I know it's okay, but it's like, I'm here, you know who I am, there's so much data on me. But yeah, it's so frustrating. I had to dig out my birth certificate, was the thing that was holding me back. I did end up having to get a copy and I should have got all my ducks in a row before I had applied. But you kind of, I might have got this wrong, but I felt that I had to start the application process and pay the money, and then I found out that I needed to have those documents. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. But beside the point, if you've been in this country, you've paid tax, you've sat exams, you've gone to school, you maybe own a business, you've got national insurance numbers, I think it should be a pretty streamlined process, really. But yeah, I get it, it's probably just my fault for not having my birth certificate to hand. But I think this kind of ties into, oh, there's actually nicely done, sir. You could have stayed there, but never mind, that unsettled me a bit. Yeah, so it's, I don't know, I think there's talk again that in the UK here they want to bring in an identity card, and this is on the basis, I think, that one of the selling points they're going to talk about is, like, you know, it's going to help reduce illegal immigration. And I think the reality is that it'll probably just make that a bigger business, bigger in terms of a way to defraud it. And all it'll make is, for your average person who just wants to go about their life, it'll probably make things more difficult. And to be quite honest, as much as there are a lot of good things that happen here, there's a lot of stuff which is pretty rubbish and doesn't work properly. And I kind of feel that, why can't we just maybe focus on getting on some of the things that need sorting out sorted first, or at least make a big improvement on them before we get stuck into something else. I mean, talking about, like, identification, I mean, a great deal of us will have driving licenses, we're going to have bank accounts, mobile phone contracts, a place of residence, and for all the people that don't have that, I'm probably thinking they probably would struggle to get an ID card. So, you know, I don't know. If they're going to even have an ID card, would it make it easier for me to be able to, you know, get a passport or whatever I need done? Probably not. It'd probably be the same amount of hassle. I think it's just more broadly, if it was just a passport, I don't think I would be annoyed, but there's just the amount of what I like to, well, I think it's just a general term that we know, shadow work. If it wasn't for the just sheer amount of shadow work we all have to do now, it wouldn't be quite so bad. But I mean, what's an ID card going to do for me, really? What's it? I think this is a question we should ask ourselves as people, not have it imposed upon us. What is an ID card going to do? For me, what's it going to do? How is my life going to be significantly better for all the money that's going to be spent on the system? And I'm open-minded. If someone can explain it, and it's a nice clear explanation, and it's like, yeah, box ticked, that makes sense, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I wanted to get the passport done. It's it'll be another source of ID, but I'd like to think that at some point we can get a family holiday done, and also I would love to do a little trip abroad. Really love to do a trip abroad. Just get used to being in a slightly different environment. And I think this is what's superb, what's a lovely feeling about being on a bike like this, is you do feel like, yeah, do you know what, I wouldn't mind going on a bit of a tour, that might be quite nice. And I was very lucky on this one. I've got a set of original BMW touring luggage which came with it, which is fantastic. The top box, the lock has failed on it, but that's fine, I'm not bothered about that. The other ones do lock. But I'd be interested, like touring suggestions, where did you guys go to maybe have an easy introduction? I mean, obviously France is straight on the coast, just get a ferry across and you're there. I mean, Spain feels like it would be lovely. Just something easy to just get going with. I don't think it probably even needs to be overthought that much. Just make sure that, you know, check in, make sure your insurances are all up to date. I think the west coast of Ireland would be amazing. I mean, I'd have to accept I'm going to get soaking wet probably, because much like here, wet weather is just a given. So yeah, I know these vlogs are still pretty bad, and they probably will remain bad, because that's just the way it'll probably be, but I do enjoy having a little chat as I ride along. This is the other interesting thing with owning this GS, is I don't necessarily always feel like I should be going really quick. There is obviously that little thing that I think we all have if you ride a motorcycle, is that you have that feeling sometimes where you do want to let it stretch its legs, you do want to have that feeling, but I don't feel like it's pushing me to behave badly. But also it does that, and it also makes sure that I'm not bored while that's happening. You know, you could have something that has nothing about it, something really dull or drab, but the GS still keeps me engaged. We're starting to get this time of year super slippery. So just dusty, dirty roads with a nice shower on them. Literally perfect. I know it's not the latest. I know it's not the greatest. But I absolutely love this thing. It's, wow. It's probably going to let me down now. It's probably going to break. But fingers crossed it doesn't. So thanks everybody for coming along for the ride. I know it can be boring sometimes, but I know I sometimes just enjoy, if I haven't been able to get out on my bike, effectively going for a ride with somebody else and just thinking, oh yeah, I wish that was me. So stay safe and we'll catch up soon.